All right, folks, welcome back to Vanquished versus Industrious Gaming Game 2. As we saw, Vanquished had a dominating lead on Game 1, pulling out a very nice tank composition. I am your play-by-play caster for today's game, Corrupt Hope, and alongside with me is Det Club Base. Now, Det Club, what are you thinking about Game 2?
I'm I'm thinking that Industrious Gaming needs to pick something that is a lot harder to counterpick. They need to pick something that doesn't rely on, actually winning in the early game and then playing really safe. And they definitely need to deal with the fact that it is entirely likely that some tanks are going to be on the other team because they didn't have a tank buster. They had nobody that could kill a tank.
That is true. Lux's light bindings were doing nothing to those tanks except maybe giving them some vitamin D. We do see the Nidalee, the Lulu, the TF Naught bans. Looks like IG learned their lesson from last game. They do not want to deal with a Nautilus.
Yeah, I can totally relate. As being somebody who's played a lot of Nautilus, don't want to let him be on the enemy team if you don't have an answer for it, and they really didn't. They didn't have a way of killing him with relative ease. They couldn't reliably deal with his crowd control because they didn't have very many ways of removing it. They didn't have very many ways of ignoring it. The same bands coming out from Vanquished, the Nidalee, Lulu, and Kog'Maw, they know what they don't want to see, and they're willing to let anything else go through.
Yeah, banning out the same bans from game 1. They don't want that hyper carry comp, and they don't want to deal with the strong counter jungle of Nidalee. And IG banning away a second game 1 composition from Vanquish. That Gragas is getting out of here. Looks like we aren't seeing Alistair lock-in. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Oh man, I love the Alistar first pick as a support player because here's the thing, right? Alistar first pick tells you absolutely nothing about their team comp. It's not like Morgana where you know she wants to go in and do bindings or wants to be a skirmishing team. It's not like, say, a Nautilus where it's going to be like a hyper aggressive lane and they want to get picks. No, it's like they could be a tower dive team. It could be a carry the Kog'Maw team. Kog'Maw's banned, but you could pick a Jhin in this. It could be anything. There's so many things you could do with an Alistar. So it reveals absolutely nothing for picking it first. The Braum Kalista, though, being picked up, that's a very strong lane, particularly because if you're playing Kalista well, you can very easily stack up those spears and get a really good rend off, particularly resetting it with a minion kill. You can trade really well early game.
Yeah, and IG really learned from game 1. They banned Nautilus Gragas and they picked Braum in first rotation. They're doing a lot smarter pick ban this game, which I'm pretty happy about. Looks like we might see the Zac and the Ash Hover. I don't think either of these champs are that great right now. Ooh, we do see the Caitlyn coming in. That strong siege potential and a lot of defensiveness from those traps is very useful in an AD carry.
I would contest the Zac on the grounds that you are using him effectively. And the problem is that there's not a lot of effective uses for him currently. There are situations, though, where he can win. In very long games, he tends to be very good because once he gets full built, he's incredibly hard to kill. You can't burst him down. It takes a lot of time for even a well-built AD carry, unless they're a full build Jhin or maybe a full build Vayne. It's very hard for them to kill somebody like Zac because he has so much health to go through. And I don't know if he can get these early ganks in. If they pick a jungler, for example, that can't deal with Zac early, then maybe he'll get to do some early ganking. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that Evelynn pick. We'll see if that gets locked in, but it's a very questionable pick because, the thing about Evelynn is cords are much easier to come by now, and people buy them a lot more because they're the only thing that you can buy. So, I don't know.
That is true. Evelynn, I don't know. Evelynn can work. If you're good at Evelynn and you have that early game pressure, it's all about that early game. She can work. In higher levels of play, I feel like a lot of teams are more safer for her. So she might be stronger in solo queue than I believe she would be in competitive. But it's House Party 5v5, Clown Fiestas, anything can happen.
I think a lot of the problem, though, is that if you have a Zac and a Evelyn, you have to pick between those two, right? The thing is, if either one is behind, Zac can still do things when he's behind. Evelyn can't. So, given the circumstances, I guess you can't pick for something assuming you'll be behind, but alright, seeing these other lock-ins though, the Vlad and the Gangplank, that's probably a Gangplank mid, which I know is played, but I don't get to actually see it played that often. Now against the Zed, I can only imagine this is going to suck for Zed, because Gangplank does a lot of damage, and Zed doesn't usually build very much armor.
Well, I mean, Zed does way more damage than Gangplank, but you're right, levels 1 and 2 do go over to the Gangplank, something that normally doesn't happen against Zed. He's usually accustomed to winning those early levels. I do hope it is a Gangplank mid and not like some sort of Vlad mid, because Vlad can get out-pressured by Zed very easily.
That's true, and I don't know. I know that I've seen a lot of Zeds win the matchup, but I've also seen if you're not careful, the Gangplank can win the matchup, simply because if he plays safe, right? He's just farming out, fight Zed, he can apply pressure while still pushing your lane, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We do see the Mundo lock-in. He's been very prevalent in just a few patches ago, but looks like we'll have to see how he does now. Actually, it is a tough Gangplank. I guess that's a nice free lane. I really would like to see Vlad top instead. I think Vlad, I used to play a lot of mid Vlad myself, and the problem with it this season is because Thunderlords exists, you get chunked a little harder in trades, which is very bad for Vlad, since you want to always keep your sustain as high as possible and not take too many chunk damage trades. But you know that Zed can pressure you. He can pressure you very hard as Vladimir. So we'll have to see how Achilles does in this mid lane.
Yeah, one of the ways I've explained it to people when I was coaching them on playing Vlad was the thing about Vlad is he's pretty okay at the first couple of levels, maybe against some matchups, but really he becomes really strong around level 7 when he's gotten to finish his first item. That's not the case against Zed, because he can't build a really early Gunblade if he needs to build a really early Zhonya's. Now, whether or not he's going to build the Zhonya's really early, I'm not sure. He probably should, because there's a high potential that he'll die if he doesn't. But we'll see. We'll see if he is comfortable enough in the matchup to instead go for that early Gunblade, go for a little bit of the Woda, and sustain up. Now, both team comps, just looking at them on the way they are right now, I don't actually see a solid style for either one. It doesn't look like they want to do any sieging. It doesn't look like they want to do any skirmishing. It really just looks like two random brawling team comps. Yeah, it looks like solo team comps. Because look at this. You've got like two top laners that just want to farm. You've got the two junglers that are going to be at each other's throats. You've got the mid lane that is apparently going to be one-sided. And then bot lane is just going to be a slugfest between the two tank supports and the two DPS/bursting AD carries.
I wouldn't call it one-sided, honestly. It depends on how good Zed is. Because something about Vladimir is his level 1 QCD is somewhere between, if I recall correctly, like 7 to 11 seconds. So once you use Q once, you can't, you have nothing but auto attacks for like, for 10 seconds almost. And if you are using Q to farm minions, it's even worse. So it's a skilled matchup, but it definitely leans towards Zed.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I want to see how they go. I know that the mid game is going to be wrought with, like, fighting everywhere, because both of these teams have, like, these comps that want to be pushing lanes really hard. So I don't know if there's going to be a point where they're all willing to just clump together. Now, I could be surprised in that. They could instead say, I don't know, we're going to have Gangplank roam to bot lane really early, and we're going to take out a tower really early. Or maybe they're going to go for a lane swap with the Mundo on Industrious Gaming and just let Mundo go bot lane by himself and shove out the top lane really hard. I don't know what they're going to do. That's the weird thing about this matchup, is it's really hard to predict because there's not one thing that either team is really, really good at.
Yeah, you're right on that. Neither of them have anything, there's no like clear defined of what do. Both of them can team fight. I'd say the team fights do lean a little more toward Vanquished with that GP Vlad AoE synergy. But Yeah, we're just gonna have to see how it works out. I do think a lane swap would favor IG, but I don't know facts enough to do that.
Well, we will have to find out as soon as we get back to Summoner's Rift. Stay tuned, guys. This is Game 2 of the quarterfinals. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Summoner's Rift. We are in Game 2. And man, these team comps are giving me a headache just thinking about them. Vanquished on the blue side. We've got Dubs on Gangplank. Don't Shoot Me on Zach. Achilles Great on Vlad. Barty Sanders, you got my vote, on Caitlyn. And 909 on Alistar. Meanwhile, on the red side here, we've got Industrious Gaming with Fully Anointed on Dr. Mundo. Gordon Ramsay bringing out that Evelyn pick. A little bit of a surprise there. Splashonomical on Zed. Lord Merc on Kalista. And Prez on Braum this time, stealing it away from the other side. I am Declave Ace on color. Joining me on play-by-play is Corrupt Hope. And nothing really going on right now.
Yeah, nice little tidbit about that political vote. But anyway, moving on.
No, I'm just voting for the Caitlyn. I don't know what you're talking about.
MVP. But a line formed by both teams. Nothing too crazy happening. Looks like they won't be going for that lane swap. Both bot laners just me go ahead and do that camp so they can get that level 2 early bonus.
And I just looked at the items. Dubs bought a Horns ring.
I mean, it's house party 5v5. All right, this is the highest tier of quality LCS plays Deck Club. As we can see,
the highest tier. I guess. Okay. Allow me to maybe play him off as a genius. Maybe he's doing it so that whenever he gets kills with his parlay, he gets some extra mana back. Maybe that's why.
I'm the guy who goes rapid cannon with TF, so I'll believe in him just for a bit. I don't think it's the best idea, but I'll believe in him.
And seeing how this is going to go, they are going to be taking the camps on the bot sides. 909 taking a lot of the damage there, just giving it over to Barty Sanders. Meanwhile, Lord Merc and Prez splitting up the damage, and by the looks of it, also splitting up that XP.
Yeah, nothing too much happening. Dubs just taking some suitcases to the face by Mundo. I'm guessing his thought process was that it would be a farm lane and he wouldn't be able to kill Mundo, so he wanted enough mana to Q farm and sustain. But I feel like if you think the lane is that free where you can just get away by doing that, it might be easier to just buy a cull.
I mean, the normal pick is to either go, like, cull or the Mana Crystal, because Mana Crystal gives you a couple of extra parlays. And it builds into a Sheen, so it's one of your items you gotta buy anyway. But I don't know. I don't know if he just straight up wins this lane, but he's certainly annoying, Fully Anointed, if nothing else.
Never mind. His strategy was to get as much mana as possible and become an 80 carry and just keep shooting Mundo, because that's exactly what he's doing. Prez getting knocked back to his turret. Dubs just unleashing the gunfire, he's just single shot reload. It's like watching a Jin or something. Reload that last bullet and just keep shooting Mundo.
Hey, if it works, it works. If he's willing to do it, just keep on it, man. If you kill Mundo with this, I will be surprised, because I've not seen many Mundos die like that.
Yeah, well, Mundo is taking a lot of damage. He did start the Cloth 4 though, the Cloth 5 since health pots do cost a little bit more now. But that will give him a lot of sustain. I'm surprised he didn't just go Doran Shield. I felt like that'd be might be a better buy. Maybe he'll pick that up in the near future. We'll see. Evelyn roaming in the jungle does get that Scuttle Crab, but Zach just securing his own red buff. He's quite a far bit behind in Evelyn in terms of jungle clear.
I think he's actually ahead because he has an extra camp done already. Because she went and did the 2 scuttles. So overall, I think she has less XP and less gold, but she's healthier.
That is true, and she does want to look for an early gank, maybe on Dubs, who is now pushing in the top lane. She will just get into a bush. Only half HP though, and now Don't Shoot Me looking for a gank in the bot lane. He is in range. There's the flash by Alistar. Alistar headbutts a minion back. That is the cannon minion for sure. Learn with the flashback, a huge misplay on the side of Vanquished, and now Don't Shoot Me is in trouble. He's taking a lot of Kalista Ren stacks. They will not rend it away, and now fully noited, just eating some more Qs to the face while Evelyn lies in wait.
Cannon minion MVP.
Oh, and another engage onto Lord Merc. There is the jump. It does miss, and now Lord Merc taking a lot of heavy damage. There's the Braum shield, and just wasting more time of this Zac. And now Dubs in a gank, in trouble. There's the dive. He will back off. Dubs saved. Fully noited. What are you doing? High tier quality LCS plays. Fully noited. Going in to dive the turret. Now they're looking for to push this bot lane out of their turret.
I can explain Fully Noided's mindset, right? Don't Shoot Me might be diving in here.
Ooh, Don't Shoot Me separating the Braum and the Caitlyn. The two soul bonded together are now separated as they look to just back off. They yeah, they're just backing off.
So I can explain, because Fully Noided was going to survive that tower shot, but he didn't account for the cost of throwing his cleaver. So when he threw it, he took the damage from the cleaver and then took the tower shot. If it had been the other way around, he would have lived.
I mean, like, even if you would have lived, though, like, what would you have accomplished?
Absolutely nothing. I'm not saying it was a good play. I'm just saying why he walked into the tower that low on health.
Yeah, it's like you throw a suitcase, even if you don't die, you're 1 HP, GP flash, or Don't Shoot Me, looking for a gank in the bot lane. There's the GP all. Lord Merc will finally be going down this bot lane, getting so much pressure in from the Zac, and meanwhile, Evelyn still behind in CS from Zac and just not anywhere. She's not on the map. She hasn't been ganking.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is after backing, by the way. Gordon Ramsay already went back and bought the upgrade for the jungle item and has boots and still is unable to gank anywhere. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna gank the Vlad? There's no way he's gonna gank Vlad. He already tried ganking top lane and that didn't get anywhere. Now they're losing the dragon because he just can't be anywhere right now.
Yeah, and it just, you know, this looks like a solo queue game coming over on the side of IG. Vanquished, once again, they love those early dragons. We saw that last game, and they secured their first one right before 7 minutes. And, you know, mid lane's going fine for Vlad. He's getting his items, and as this lane goes on, Vlad will just become stronger and stronger as he gets that Seeker's arm guard.
That's right, and we do see the first buy here from Barty coming back with a BF sword and boots. Oh man, that is like the wet dream of 80 carries, because you get an extra biscuit, you get some extra damage, and on top of all that, you got a little bit of movement speed.
That is true, and you know, GP once again with that door ending, farming up. He's mostly been using it on Mundo, and Mundo himself just getting his farm. Not too much happening, but I'm really worried on the side of IG. Evelyn will get outscaled. She's not a farm jungler. You need to be out there. You need to be making plays, using your stealth, while people don't have the money to buy all these pink wards to get these ganks in.
Yeah, and now there's already a pink ward defending bot lane, so they're gonna have to come in through the lane. And one of the things I'd like to see bot lane pull off from Vanquished here is a forward pink ward in the bot side brushes, something that's actually really dangerous, but if you manage to put it right, you can bait them into fighting for it, because they have to get it, because then Evelyn can't come gank. But as we see, Gordon Ramsay coming in through this bot side brush, he's at half health though.
That's true. Zach is here, and Zed's looking for a gank in the top lane, waiting patiently in that bush. It looks like it isn't warded, so Dubs has no idea, but he's still playing fairly safe. Now that he's shoving in, Zed needs to head back to the mid lane. Don't shoot me. Getting the nice jump in onto Prez, activating his ultimate. Gordon Ramsay is here too for the party, getting hit super low, running into that Graves. He will go ahead and die. Gangplank ult. Sorry, Lord Merc finally using that heal. They're focusing Alistair. Why? That's not a great target. And now Prez is on the decline. Just poor focus and poor fights in general coming out from IG. And now Achilles heel getting ulted by Zed. Here comes the exhaust. Dropped. Probably didn't even need to use that. Could have just cooled away, but did dissuade Zed from going all in. And now this is even greater for Vlad. He didn't even have to use his ultimate or anything, but I guess he did use exhaust, so the greatest.
Allow me to explain that groan. 909 didn't even use Unbreakable Will, and he survived. It means that next time they fight, he'll have it up and ready and just able to do it. That is not a good sign. You just lost a 3v3, and they didn't even blow the most useful defensive cooldown they have.
And now Gordon Ramsay in the mid lane looking for a gank on Achilles. Achilles still does have that ultimate. He will not drop it just yet. He activated his cool a bit late. He will not be able to heal in time, picking up that kill, and Gordon Ramsay will fall to Barty Sanders, securing that kill with his ultimate.
I guess all things considered, you can call it worth, because it gave IG a kill, but unfortunately that kill is on Eve, who, once again, hasn't really been able to do anything. That wasn't even really Eve that managed to do that. Most of that damage came out from Splash.
And now a gank in the mid lane. The jump by Zach will miss, but Splash will go down. A nice play once again by IG, and IG just... Oh, sorry, by Vanquished, not IG. Vanquished just making these proactive plays constantly around the map.
So I just want to point out, though, I have to bring it to attention, because the last game was really slow for the first like 20 minutes. Don't shoot me getting caught out in the jungle, but I don't think it matters.
This jungle running in circles, and his ultimate's back up, and he's gonna go ahead and just hop on away as Caitlyn is getting chased by Braum. Evelyn going around for the flank. It looks like she won't be able to catch her. Alistair is very nearby, but this isn't a fight they want to take with Lord Merc right behind. They will back off, and now Vlad in the bot lane.
So last game was a really, really slow early game, and there wasn't a lot fighting until like 18 to 20 minutes in. This game, Vanquish completely turned that on its head and picked a bunch of team style to just go really hard early game, and they're just constantly in Industrious Gaming space, and they don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, and you know, even though we didn't have any clear direction on what these team comps wanted to do, it looks like Vanquish is just making just a lot better plays than IG constantly.
I mean, I guess the team comp is we gotta win early, so we may as well try hard, right?
But the thing is, Vanquish doesn't even need to win early. Vlad and GP scale into these late game monsters while Zed falls off, Evelyn falls off, and Kalista falls off too.
If Kalista falls off as quickly as Caitlyn will fall off, though.
Caitlyn outscales Kalista 100%, without a doubt.
I'd have to look at the numbers.
All right, Twitch chat, tell us, who scales better, Kalista or Caitlyn?
I don't know if I can call chat a reliable source here. Let's be fair, they've called some pretty bad plays before.
True, it's true, but going back to this game, nothing too much happening. You know, Gangplank trying to get that Trinity Force, his first big item. Mundo has that Sunfire. What do you think about the items of everyone else, Tech Club?
So, I like Fully Anointed picking up the Sunfire, right? Because it means that he can push in. He has to push in against Dubs, because Dubs can easily push against him. So, trying to stay under the tower is a bad idea. This will happen. He'll just get harassed with kegs that he can't see. But the rest of the team, Splastronomical having to go for this really, really early maul because, I don't know, I guess he feels he needs to. But Achilles almost has his Zonias already, so it's not really going to matter that much in the end. Callista's still not finishing an item yet. That's not very good. Uh-oh, Gordon Ramsay getting
Yeah,
caught out
Gordon
by
Ramsay
909.
in a combo. Looks like his blue buff will be stolen away, but Mundo going in for the teleport. Alistar finally decides to use his ultimate. Gordon Ramsay taking heavy damage, does have those double buffs. And now Don't To Me is the one in trouble as he's getting shot by this Kalista. But now Zed ulting in on to this. Caitlyn will not finish the kill. Prez barely getting out. The exhaust is dropped on him for whatever reason. Splash now chasing. They're trying to get that forward stack. They will go down. And now Barty Sanders is in trouble. He can get turret dive very easily. Fully Anointed is tanky enough, but he decides to stop tanking because why would you tank for your mid laner that's diving? And Splash will go ahead and fall.
That was a very good play from Industrious Gaming, but I gotta say though, I will call that less a good play and more a bad play on Vanquished. It was well played, but it was only allowed because Vanquished decided to fight with only 4 people. Dubs wasn't there. He didn't have teleport. Fully Anointed started teleporting in. They should have just left. They were inside the opponent's jungle. They got a little bit too greedy.
It's just, like, that dive was the most, like, Fully Anointed could have tanked about 1 to 2 more hits for Splash to let him finish that dive, but he didn't. And now Lord Mork is getting comboed under turret, taking huge damage. He will be very low. Gordon Ramsay is super low. Caitlyn does have ultimate, but not enough mana, looks like, or just afraid that Gordon Ramsay will block it. Vlad scouted out by that Kalista Ghost. Some intense play-by-play right there, folks. And everything's going back to normal.
Dubs actually losing to Fully Anointed now.
2 cases are on the loose because Fully Anointed has acted all 3 of them so far. And there is a number. No, just a minion will take that one. And Dubs safe, but having to flash away.
I was about to say that was a bad flash, but he flashed over some minions, so everything was K. He didn't have any oranges. He did have a good flash. Gordon Ramsay going for a really risky kill, having to flash
away from the Alistar. That would have been a hilarious thing to see. Probably a little too tilt-inducing for Gordon, though.
Oh man, that was kind of depressing to watch. Anytime you have to flash away from a camp that you're clearing because you have no health is very sad.
Oh, and looks like they want to go for this Rift Herald. IG always trying to have better objective control throughout this game. As Vanquished once again is on the back foot, and slowly they're getting a little bit outscaled. Although Vlad is 0-2, does have 2 deaths. Gangplank will be picking up that Rift Herald and be using it to shove out this top lane.
Yeah, but even with Vlad having those deaths, because of the turrets that are down, because of all the CS that he has over it, and because of the extra gold that they get from having Dragon, not necessarily physical gold, but the assumed gold from the extra stats, he's like now 2,000 gold ahead.
Dubs is in trouble. He drops the ult onto Caitlyn, trying to get that 1v1, but Fully Anointed is right behind. He doesn't have flash. He used it earlier. He's trying to get away, dodging nothing, and he will fall, but Don't Shoot Me's there, and they turn around the kill onto Gordon Ramsay. Dubs will be able to get away. What a great escape, saving Private Gangplank, but now can you save Private Zac? He will save himself. Braum getting headbutted over because why not, and a great pickup by IG.
Can I please have a Paratrooper Zac skin? Like, please. There's so many times I've seen Zax just, like, jump in front of skill shots to save people.
That was just amazing. Well, like, we did not think even for a second he would be safe. And now Barty Sanders, red buff Braum, has the procs out. Alistar is over the wall, and they're canceling the teleport because Barty Sanders has dropped.
Scumbag Splash doesn't give Prez the kill that he worked so hard for with that red buff.
Like not too much happening though, and IG just waiting for the next dragon. They know they want to play this objective game, and now with this lane swap, Vlad is, well, I guess it's not really a lane swap, you know, we're like 18 minutes in, laning's over, but Vlad's the one dealing with Mundo. Which
That's not true. Mundo is still top lane. Laning is still available until he's down. To be fair, Fully Anointed has been staying top lane. Top lane has not actually ended yet because the towers aren't dead yet. Okay, now it's over. Now Achilles can leave and go somewhere else.
Speak of the devil. And now, you know, just looking at these junglers, 4-1-2 on Don't Shoot Me, and 0-3-3 on Gordon Ramsay.
I mean, I hate to say I called it, but I kind of called it.
And you know the even better BM that IG wasn't able to pull off the Zac game 1, but Vanquished took it from them, and then now they're performing so well with it. But you know, this game isn't over. There's only a 4K gold lead by Vanquished, but I'm just worried for them because it looks like Vanquished is playing a lot better team game.
Yeah, but really, 4K, while that sounds like a lot, when you're 3 towers down and 2 dragons down, that's not really that much gold. Yes, it's a lot of stats on the rest of the team, but if you can, like, I don't know, have a split push Zed or a split push Mundo, just keep pushing until you eventually get a tower, you can catch that up as long as you don't die, and they need to be really careful because they might die if they stay here.
Like
Industrious Gaming does not want to contest this dragon. They just want to leave.
And just like, and it's unfortunate because look, this is the 3rd dragon in 19 minutes because they got the first dragon so early and they have absolute objective control. But what are you doing as Vanquished? No, like, are you gonna finally get your first turret of the map and top lane? No, you won't because Gangplank's already here to stop that.
And he does have his ult up. He was just saving it so that he'd be able to use it to harass in the bot side push that is now starting, because when that dragon was obtained, the bot side was already pushed up with a cannon minion. They are ready for this.
And now an engage in the bot lane. Is this the fight Vanquished needs? They're going in. The Zedal is on Caitlyn. She's getting hit very low. She will survive from that Zedal, but fully annoyed. It's on the side. She will flash away to safety. Good positional, but now Gordon Ramsay is in the fray. Barty Sanders will go down. Vlad still trying to get those heals off. He will fall to Fully Noited also, and that is a double kill coming on Fully Noited. Now Don't Shoot Me is the one in trouble. He will flash away, and that was a 4v5. Gangplank did not have teleport, but will he have this top lane turret? He's putting a lot of damage on it.
Don't Shoot Me might catch out Gordon Ramsay here.
Oh, good. Another trade coming out. Gordon Ramsay, why would you run back? He's getting hit very low. Now, Zed just farming mid lane. Looks like the fight has ended. Dubs did not get that top lane turret. And I guess a good trade over on the side of Vanquished. IG. God, I was mixed.
I don't know. I think I actually do think that was a good trade for Vanquished. Because look, they didn't really lose their lead at all. They still have a 4K gold lead. So yes, they died, but they also put both top and bot to almost no health. To the point where now, all they need is Don't Shoot Me to walk up there, or 909 to walk up there and tank the tower for a little bit, and they could just kill them. Then mid lane is the only one standing of the outer turrets, and that opens up an easy Baron or even an easy 4th and 5th dragon for them. So yeah, they got some kills, but all those kills went to Fully Noited, so
yeah,
yay?
That's true. Making him another full tank would help though. Looks like there's a gank in the top lane. The 3-man hit squad. Fully Noited pops the ultimate. Will run out of the Zac jumper into Don't Shoot Me. Will cancel, and he's just running circles around them. Alistair sees it, will get it, did not need the combo there, could just headbutt him to the wall and then Q by a little more CC time, but now Fully Noited taking the heavy damage. Trial by fire from Gangplank doing a ton of damage. He will get killed, but Barty Sanders falling in the mid lane, and that's the danger of that last fight. Caitlyn used all her summoners. That's a very dangerous thing, so even with 4 traps, it did not save her.
You know, 4 traps doesn't save you from a Zed who can just jump right on top of you, unless you stand on top of the traps, in which case you're now exposing yourself to everyone else. So,
and now,
don't shoot me.
Walking in a bit too far will take about half his damage and jump on back out.
That's okay. Top lane gonna be pushing it a little bit, but not gonna reach into that turret. Splashonomical is there just to kind of tear it to pieces, no problem. And even so, even with that kill, even with getting another kill, Fully Noited did die. So yes, Industrious Gaming did get a kill. They didn't get the tower though. I have to question the decision making and not going for that tower, even if it would have meant tanking up the tower a little bit, because they're still 5,000 gold behind. And that's not going to get any better until they get a tower.
Yeah, they're not the best objective team. As
like 5,000 gold, that's a lot of gold for kills. And you're behind in farm too.
And that just shows it with a 3 kill difference, 5k gold. It's just because Vanquish have been playing so much stronger of an objective game. And now with Caitlyn grouped, hopefully she won't get solo killed by Zed again as they look to group mid and shove it out as Gangplank goes down to deal with the split push from Mundo in the bot lane.
At this point, I don't even know if Dubs wants to bother going in split pushing. They could just walk down lane because Fully Anointed doesn't have TP.
Yeah, he is too far, so he will be related to the mid lane. Zed is in the top lane, and Mundo's in the bot lane, so actually they can just shove down this mid turret very fast. This is actually very dangerous. Zed's trying to rush back into here, but he's very far out of position. But Evelyn looking for the flank on them. Don't Shoot Me is diving before they can get into position on the side of Vanquished, but now Caitlyn left all alone, in trouble, will get hit very low, will fall. Gordon Ramsay, the next up in trouble, but now Vlad is in danger. No one's protecting him. This looks like another bad fight on the side of IG. They do get the turret. Dubs does get the up kill, and you know, Fully Anointed wrecking some havoc, but as long as Vlad doesn't fall, this will be really good for them. He will go down, unfortunately. Dubs needs to get out of here. He's teleporting. He will be able to get out. Fully Anointed, realize what's happening. Actually does it, did not see Gangplank teleport, and Zach will go ahead and get away. One turret being taken, 3 members of Vanquished falling, while 3 members of IG also falling.
So that was a pretty okay for IG, but I gotta give props to Barty Sanders because Splash dropped on him and he didn't panic. He realized, okay, I'm gonna die. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and kill Splash instead. So he doesn't have Flash, right? So he has to fight. And they managed to get the tower. So all those kills happened. They still got what they wanted.
Yep. Definitely a much better trade on the side of Vanquished. You're right, they did get that tower. But, you know, I'm really hoping they'll allocate a little more peel for this Caitlyn. She was left completely alone that fight, and Zed did get the flank on her.
I think that Barty just needs to invest in a QSS because they're constantly diving on him at this point. He needs to kind of accept 2 pink cords in 1 bush. Good job, guys. Professionals.
And
I guess
now
it doesn't matter. This is Drag 4.
IG want to possibly contest their first dragon. It looks like they won't, though. They're already pressured off. None of them are in position for it, as all 5 members of Vanquished will pick up their 4th dragon of the game at 25-45, which means, you know, at around 32 minutes, there's the 5th dragon. There's a win condition already on the field.
See, this means that right now, IG needs to make a play for Baron within the next, like, 3 minutes or so.
Look at their positions.
Yeah, like, they're spread out. Yes, they managed to get a tower top lane, but they might lose a tower mid lane. The siege is on.
And here's the flank. The Bromall going down. Barty Sanders getting ulted once again, but Don't Shoot Me will flashback, try to peel for him. It's too late. Dubs trying to kill Bromwell, tanking Kalista, not the best idea. Don't Shoot Me in trouble. He will fall. Achilles the Great is now afraid of the Mundo. Will go ahead and back off, and this is another dangerous thing on the side of Vanquished. They need to be careful for these flanks.
Yeah, that was a very good play coming out from Industrious Gaming. This was actually a situation where I can say that there was nothing that Vanquish got. They didn't get a tower. They lost 2 powerful members, so they have to back off. They're going to lose another tower. They lost a tower top lane. So, good job. Industrious Gaming actually had a good fight that actually had some value instead of just like a random skirmish that they win but they actually lose overall.
You know, why does Gangplank have a Titanic Hydra?
I mean, why not if you're going to build tanky, I guess?
Don't even justify it, Neko. He needs to have an Infinity Edge. He needs to be doing damage. He doesn't have any crit, which means his barrels won't be critting in these team fights, which is absolutely huge. Being tanky is very nice, though. I guess a little counterplay.
He's got 20% crit. What are you talking about? He's got crit. He's got some crit. It's not a lot of crit, but it's a 1 in 5 chance.
It's true. It is a 1 in 5 chance. Not what you want to risk your team fights on. I wouldn't risk it on a 1 in 5 chance, but
to be fair though, even though he doesn't have 909.
Oh, and now
909-101
is caught out by 3 members. He's still not popping that ultimate. It actually was enough. There was about 2 more seconds on it.
Well, that was a good catch. Unfortunately, he was caught out going for a pink ward. We don't know why they were trying to contest vision over there when there wasn't anyone else nearby, so good job, Industrious Gaming, I guess, for catching that. Oh, they might be making a Baron play here. It'd be a very good time to do it if they can catch Don't Shoot Me.
Yeah, just on the side of Vanquish, like why are they outs? Why are they keep getting caught? Zach should not have been there. And looks like they were gonna go ahead and back off, escape, but now the timer's up. Alistair's spawning in about 2 to 3 seconds, so even if they start this, he will join the fight. But it looks like they will. They're gonna stack in those police stack. There's the gangplank call that will force the disengage. I was hoping it'd come down a little later, but it looks like they decided to blow it early.
Well, they didn't have very good vision of it. They used the blue ward at the same time that they used the ult there, so I guess they weren't really sure whether or not they'd have enough time to get it off there. If they had waited, they may have actually been able to go in that and kill them, but I guess if nothing else, it does keep Baron on the map. It does let them get an opportunity to clear it out, make up for the fact that 909 got caught.
Yeah, and just some suitcases being thrown, papers everywhere. They
Who's
try to do
Splashonomical just got spotted bot side, clearing that wave. This is definitely a fight they want now.
and caught out. Lord Mark forces the flash. Now fully annoyed is the one in trouble. He's going to need to pop that all, try to get that movement speed as fast as possible. Now Gordon Ramsay joins the fray for whatever reason, and he's fully annoyed, taking so much damage. There's the flash. Will they be able to catch him? If Zach can get one more jump out, he will fall, but looks like he might be able just to get away. Vardy Sanders getting hit very low by that Zed, chooses not to go in. His team was not there. Don't shoot me. Jumping in, completely misses Lord Merc, getting hit, and this is just a very sloppy fight on the side of Vanquished as they look to back off.
I was going to say that that was actually a really good fight for Vanquished in a second, because they were like, oh yeah, you know, they got Mundo's ult. That's really important for them, because they don't have an ignite, and they don't have any way of, like, removing the healing effects, so yeah, that was going to be really good. And then they didn't actually go in. It's like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, and there's the combo onto Prez. Gordon Ramsay's in the outskirts using that Q, those hate spikes, and nothing much is going to happen. It's a minute and 20 till Dragon, which is obviously Vanquish's primary goal right now.
Even with all the stuff that's been taken, everything that has been tried to bridge that gap, still, IG is at a 3K, little bit under 3K deficit, and that is not a situation you want to be in with Drag 5 on the table, because once they get Drag 5, one of the things that a lot of people have not really realized with the new Dragon is they replaced the second and fourth abilities. Yes, they made it so that it's easier to siege turrets because the bleed is very strong, and they made it so it's easier to dive turrets. But the double bonuses thing affects everything. So that means that when you get double bonuses, you get 40% damage reduction from turrets. You just don't even care about turrets anymore at that point.
And just look at this setup. Caitlyn already laying down these traps at the entrances. They don't even want to give Vanquish the chance to do this, but they backed off their position. They went ahead and cleared those K-traps. A nice thing to do early, but Gordon Ramsay spotted out. Dubbed also spotted out. Braum will still eat the barrel, however. He doesn't have that much crit. Still only has the Trinity Force. And Braum taking another huge barrel. Prez, what are you doing? Don't shoot me, going in for the gate. There's the GP ult. Vardy Sander on the side. Achilles still in the far back, and they're looking for a fight. Fully anointed will go and Splash is looking to go in. He will flash for Caitlyn. The ult does come down, and Caitlyn QSS is that she will be safe, but Gordon Ramsay will go ahead and finish the kill. The GP barrel is still in the fight. Will activate on Zed. Dubs flash forward, gets the kill on Zed, but now Dubs is in trouble. He will fall to that Kalista rent. And another barely fight win on the side of IG.
I'm actually very disappointed. Dubs did not use that QSS that he had. He would have at least killed one more person if he'd used it, and the cooldown isn't really that long, so I'm not sure why he held onto it.
And just like in these fights, it's Vladimir. Vladimir's the mid laner on the side of Vanquish who just isn't really contributing that much. He doesn't do that much damage, and because of it, they're gonna lose another team fight. They aren't able to peel for their Caitlyn or get those engages on by Zac.
Slowly but surely, this game is kind of rolling outside of Vanquished's win phase, and they need to get it back. They just lost Drag 5. That was the fight that they were trying to set up. They were trying to get everything in position to do it, and they started the fight too early. And then, okay, sure, they caught out Prez. They get a lot of damage on Prez. They blew Prez's flash. They blew Lord Mark's ultimate, but then what happened? They got engaged on from the side because they were still trying to chase.
Yeah, it's just looking more and more tough For Vanquished, they've been throwing their lead, they've been picking these really bad team fights constantly, and now look at Mundo, he's 10-2 and unkillable right now.
Well, hopefully they'll find a way to beat him soon here. I'm not sure whether or not that's going to be possible. The Dominix Regard's being picked up by Barty Sanders here. I do agree with it. It is very good against a Mundo, especially when he's diving you, because if you have a little bit of lifesteal and you get 50% bonus damage on him, much prefer the extra damage than the healing reduction.
Don't shoot me, escaping from the depth of red team's jungle. Looks like they're gonna clear those traps. You don't want to have the traps cleared before you start Baron. You want to force them into it. I think she's placing the traps a little too far, but she's holding that line, and look at that Caitlyn damage. That's the late game I'm talking about. And now Evelynn has the flank in the mid lane. She's right behind them. They have no idea, and IG looking for an engage. There's the Caitlyn ult. There's the cluster. Caitlyn immediately falling. There wasn't any peel for him, and now Gordon Ramsay following up, all members of IG dropping like flies. Dubs wasn't even there. They didn't even have Gangplank. There's the Vlad ult. Does not kill anyone. And a great pickup on the side of IG.
I think IG has realized what their team comp is good at, and that is forcing team fights that are situations that Vanquished do not want to be in. Previously, they weren't getting anything from these forced team fights. Now that they've actually evened up the gold from getting those extraneous towers, the story is kind of different. They've gotten a dragon. They're only one tower down. They're a kill ahead now. They're managing to catch up in gold, and that's definitely not good when you were, well, at least not good for Vanquish when you were like having such a large lead early game. So I'm not really sure what's going through Vanquish's head now. They need to be really careful about these engages, and they need to stop going in 4v5.
And a huge misplay, Don't Shoot Me, showing himself in the bot lane, showing IG that they can get this Baron for absolutely free. And that is exactly what they did, and this is their chance to come back in this game. But you know, if I had to give a name to IG's comp, I would name it Killing Caitlyn, because that's what they do first thing every single fight within 3 seconds. And
so we've got Saving Private Gangplank and Sniper Caitlyn.
Pretty much.
It's unfortunate too, because it doesn't matter how much Barty Sanders has for himself. He just can't peel that much. He used the QSS and still died instantly. He still hasn't used his heal because he just dies so fast. There's nothing for him to do. He needs your help. Don't shoot me. You're their only hope. Dubs, you must be there during the fights. Stop going and doing stuff when your team is trying to do stuff in the forward.
Don't Shoot Me trying to almost get caught out. But honestly, the big thing is Alistar just is never standing on Caitlyn when this happens. He's never there to peel for her, so she always has to peel by herself, which isn't going to work versus an Evelynn and a Zed. There's the 5 trap line. There's the defense. And you know, something you notice about Vanquished is they can't siege turrets too well, although they are looking for a dive-in on this mid lane. Evelynn has the flank on both sides between mid and bot, but now fully noted, taking a lot of heavy damage, eating all that Caitlyn damage. He will almost step into a trap. Nothing too much happening. Dubs is able to hold the turret in the mid lane. Don't Shoot Me getting hit very low though. Does have that Spirit Visage, so he's getting quite a bit of heal. Stepping a little too far forward though, just eating more and more.
Seeing Dubs near the mid lane defending against Splashonomical, but all the fighting is happening here. This is the siege that they've wanted. Even if they're really bad at sieges, there's not much other choice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the siege they wanted or the one that they deserve. But now Dubs in trouble in the mid lane. There's the ult, there's the flash, there's the QSS. Will he finish the kill onto Splash? He will not. And now Don't Shoot Me once again stepping too far. He's just tanking damage whatsoever. And this is the breakthrough. If they can't 4v3 bottom lane, then they're going to lose mid lane in a 2v1. And that's exactly what's going to happen. They are going to be taking this bottom turret on the side of Vanquished.
Unfortunately, in a situation where you're forced into the 4v3, Dubs is most of his team's gold right now. He's got 15,000 gold. While that is less than Fully Noited has double his kills. More than double his kills. And it's very unfortunate because I keep seeing Dubs go off and do stuff by himself. And if he would just stick with his team, they would be able to do things, but he's always somewhere else and using his ult to fight.
Yeah, it's a struggle. You know, I think Vank Vanquish had this game in their hands, but they just threw it with those really sloppy team fights. And now that IG has a fighting chance, they're showing it. They're just winning every single team fight. They have that unkillable Mundo raid boss, along with that, you know, that Zed Evelyn who just constantly kill Caitlyn. Now Gordon Ramsay with the engage will back off. He's gonna get hit by Don't Shoot Me. Bernie Sanders, your positioning is key here. Dubs on the backside, but now they're not in this fight. Achilles is in there though, getting hit very low. 9091 in the middle will fall. Don't Shoot Me jumping backward for that little nice amount of heal. But Caitlyn has already fell. A nice barrel connect, but it won't do any damage because he's tank GP, folks. And now all 5 members of IG are alive, and they want some objectives. 3 members of Vanquished have fallen as they look for this inhibitor.
I'd like to point out, Fully Noided just walked past everybody to the back line and killed Bernie Sanders by himself.
Mundo goes where he keeps his tech club. That has never been more prevalent than in these
Nothing
games.
nothing has changed in all of these seasons. Mundo still goes where he pleases. And there's not really anything that Vanquish can do at this point. Game is already lost unless somehow Fully Noided messes up and is miraculously killed by himself. The death timers are too long. It's too late. He's too tanky. He can walk past your front line and kill one of your carries. He doesn't care about the other carry. The other carry can't kill him.
It's just, yeah, Vladimir is doing nothing this game. I think he messed up his build fast. He definitely needed to be way more offensive, and he doesn't even have a Void Staff when there's so much MR. He does absolutely nothing to Mundo than just die in team fights, and if they can't peel for Caitlyn, you have 0 chance of killing this Mundo.
I mean, just look at Lord Merc. He built Play the Rune King as his first item, and then he went Maw of Malmortius Sterix Gauge. So, you can't dive them because everyone on their team is tanky. Gordon Ramsay, we gave him a lot of, a lot of shit early game. It kind of sucked. He wasn't doing well. He wasn't getting any ganks in. But he transitioned into being the AP tank Evelyn, which used to be the way you would play Evelyn, and he's doing it okay. He's not dying instantly.
Would you even call it a tank? He has Rylai's as his only health item.
Well, he's got Rylai's, Abyssal Scepter, and a Glacial Shroud.
Well, Bruiser.
It is tank. It's the closest you can get to being a mage tank.
Possibly, but yeah, they just threw this game. And even in that Gage bot lane, Caitlyn and Gangplank weren't there. So why was Don't Shoot Me going in on Evelyn?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you because my assumption is that maybe Don't Shoot Me thought that he could do more on the front line than he could on the back line, but really, they just need the whole team to peel for Barty. Barty is their damage right now, and he also has the most deaths. Because, once again, Dubs didn't build damage GP. Vlad doesn't really have that much damage right now. He's working on his Void Staff now, but it's too little too late. So Barty is the only one that can actually hurt anybody, and he has to fight Mundo.
Yeah, and as a Gangplank, you won't finish much. Alistair headbutting away. That raid boss, he's practically like 3 times Baron HP anyway right now with with that big of a health bar. They are defending this top lane after all. They do have those Caitlyn traps, so without Baron buff, it is very hard to break, but they just need to get one good flank off. It's all they need to win a fight.
That's right, and Fully Noided just hanging out in the base because why not? What are they going to do? Kill him? Somehow, I doubt it. And 909 getting caught out, not quite in the worst position, but trying to bait out this Baron. IG is prepared for the fight. Mundo staying bot lane to push in because they've got so much vision he could easily just teleport in, and really there's nobody on the team that could stop him from getting there.
Yeah, and Vanquished Dubs are just stuck at his turret. This Mundo doesn't even care. He's in the middle of their base. No one can stop him. They're not even going to try. Now, this Baron is the next power play on this map. But it looks like IG's already looking for a flank. Evelyn is in position. And in they go, fully anointed, teleporting in. There's the Vladal. Kill Caitlyn. Comp is alive. She's already dead. Splash will live with that Maw active. And now Vladimir not really accomplishing much in these fights. Another member falling down. 2 for 0 so far, 3 for 0. And now IG looking for their final push of the game with 3 members down. That long death timer, fully anointed, says, hey guys, come on, forget the inhibitor turret. Let's go get this Nexus.
I mean, he can tank the tower, why not? What are they gonna do, stop him?
No, they're not. They're not going to do anything to him because he's been tanking those inhibitors for about a minute and he's still not dead. But looks like they're going to try to finish off this push. Dubs actually might be able to hold him off in time. There's only 18 seconds till Caitlyn spawns, 15 till Alistair, but they're going to have to really fight them off. Like they will go ahead and go in for the engage. There's the Zedal onto Dubs. He does QS, does cleanse it. Now Splash is the one in trouble. He will fall, but it's all for naught as 4 members of IG are on this turret and taking back game 2, bringing the series to 1-1.
Talk about the turnaround of the century, or even the throw of the century, because there was a 6,000 gold lead. Vanquished had that game in the back. Oh, they didn't do what they needed to do. They kept splitting off and just, instead of pushing down a lane, they were split pushing.
High quality LCS plays. Stay tuned,
High quality
folks.
LCS plays.
Game 3 is coming right up.